Good morning. Welcome to my 365. It's 27th of July. Had a I've had a bitch of a morning. I've had a bit of a tumultuous morning. You may see that I'm sporting a new accessory. It's a stylish new headband. It's the sling. That's the new accessory that I'm talking about, not the headband. The headband was a joke. I was going to do my 365 this morning, and I set everything up, and I found that my batteries were not charged. And I said, well, I'm just gonna go plug them in, and while I'm waiting for them to get some juice, I'm gonna practice handstands. So I was practicing handstands, and I was treating them kind of like tapetas. I was doing like 30 seconds of work and then resting a little 20 seconds. And I was going between either holding the L shape with my feet up on something like a wall, or donkey kicks, where you kick yourself up and try to find that point where you start to float. And it was right out here. It was right behind me on this mat. Mat was moved a little bit, because I didn't want to roll off the edge of the deck, because if you kick up too hard, you'll roll. It's a thing that happens, when you're trying to do an inversion like that. And I did a mule kick, and I found that little float point, and it was a little bit too much, and I came down on the other side, and I just didn't roll. I just didn't. There was no trick. There was no disasters. It was just, I just didn't roll. Which is funny, because between mountain biking and the dojo, I've always had a knack for break falls. I've always had a knack for rolling out and not getting injured. And this time I just didn't. And I crashed onto the deck, right onto my shoulder. And it made a snap, a nasty noise. And I reached up in pain, and my shoulder was not shaped correctly. It felt really bad. There was something bad going on there. And so I managed to get to the hospital. And what seemed like, I was there for over an hour before I was really seen. They did do one battery of x-rays, probably 30 minutes in, but then I was in there for like another 30 or 40 minutes before somebody would finally come to see me, and they had to do a second battery of x-rays, and they were like, nothing's broken and nothing is dislocated. I could not believe it. I was so happy, but also confused. Like, what could possibly hurt this much? My shoulder was not shaped correctly. How could it not be broken or dislocated? And as luck would have it, the attending physician had been an orthopedist for 14 years. He said that I have a type 1 AC injury. And it's common in people who are athletic or engaged in stuff. They move around a lot. It's common in mountain bikers or bicyclists, gymnasts, because it's most common. The injury is most commonly found when somebody suffers an impact on their shoulder. That's exactly what I did. So there's a clavicle, and you have the scapula, and part of the scapula, there's this bone that comes up. It's called the acromion process, and it comes up and it protrudes out a little bit. And it's one of the things it does is it helps prevent you from pulling your arm out of the socket if you come up like this. Because instead of coming up and keeping and going all the way around, you have to come off to a slight angle here. You kind of it helps keep everything where it's supposed to be. And the clavicle is attached by a little piece of tissue to the acromion process and another piece of tissue down in front. And so the type 1 is basically. Everything is still exactly where it's supposed to be. But some of that tissue is wicked angry. Number 2 is that tissue is wicked angry and some of the bones are not where they're supposed to be. And then it keeps going, right? There's actually 6. There's 5 typically. The 6th one is where the clavicle can have an impact that's so extreme that it actually goes under and gets stuck under the acromion process. So I was in agony most of the morning. I'm in a lot of pain right now. I've taken a lot of Motrin. I've been icing it. And I slept a bunch because it's excruciating. But it's one joint and amongst a multitude of joints. And so sticking with my creed, you do what you can with what you have. So I'm going to do the best 365. I'm going to do the best sun salutations I can. And I'm going to continue teaching yoga. I'm going to continue doing what I can for myself. Ultimately, this is just going to have ice, vitamin M, which is Motrin, rest, and then eventually physical therapy. There's nothing else for it. So, here we go.
What are you doing?
Just trying to get your head out. Oh, she saw herself on camera.
She's gonna boop my phone. She's gonna turn off my camera. You know, a couple of weeks ago, months ago, I don't know, whatever, I had talked about how we rationalize away from our better life's choices all the time. It's raining, I'm not going to go for a run. It's cold outside, I don't want to do this thing. I had a bad day, I'm going to have ice cream for dinner. Whatever it is. I do it, everybody does it. And I had said something in the vlog about how I wasn't going to rationalize away from the choices I wanted to make, away from the lifestyle changes and the lifestyle that I wanted to live. I had said something like, when I hear myself making those rationalizations, I would see it as a flag to go in the other direction. And doing my 365 today feels like a major triumph. Feels like that notion has become habit. It's not bravado. It wasn't showing off. I wanted to do this for me today. I wanted to see what I could do today. And I did really well. And I'm really pleased. It's been a tumultuous morning. It hasn't been a tumultuous day. It was a tumultuous morning, and I have too many blessings to count. I'll talk a little bit more about the injury tomorrow, specifically because I want to talk about yamas. I often say, whether I'm in the studio teaching a class or even if I'm with whomever, I say, can you be happy right now? Say you're in high plank, I got everybody in high plank. I say to them, can you be happy right now if this is the only posture the whole rest of the class? Without looking ahead to the next posture, right? And I don't know about tomorrow. Nobody knows about tomorrow. I know right now, though, that I can be happy. I can be joyful right now. Not despite this injury, not because of this injury, maybe just in addition to this injury. Maybe in a year or 3 or 7, I'll have more words to explain exactly what I'm feeling right now, but I don't know that it's coming out very clearly. Thank you for joining me on my practice this morning. Namaste.